Sze Pei, as we all know, features are getting smaller and demands become more stringent. What is going wrong in our customers' fine feature assembly?
I wouldn't say that there's something wrong, but I think one thing that we need to place a lot of emphasis, one process, is the printing process. It includes the design of the stencil, how you design the stencil opening, and the board support, as well as how you set the process parameters. So all this actually plays a very important role, especially when you go down to fine pitch assembly process. Yeah, so we have to really take care of each process step and make sure to achieve good printing performance.
How does smaller powder size affect flux used in the solder paste?
As the powder size becomes smaller and smaller, so the surface area of the powder also increases, especially when you go from type 5 to type 6, type 7, and maybe some are thinking about type 8. So the surface area actually increases exponentially. And as this area increases, so the oxidation also increases. And the function of the flux is actually to remove of these oxides. So if there is more oxidation, so the loading to the flux actually increases, and you need a stronger flux to effectively clean off all the oxides and create a good solder joint.
And how do we choose the right solder paste?
To choose the right solder paste, first of all, you look at the powder size, what are the openings that you want to print. So general industry guideline is to have at least 5 to 6 particles across the opening of the stencil. So that is how you choose the correct powder size. And besides that, then you have to choose the correct alloy that you are looking at. Is it a standard set alloy or other alloys? And of course, the last thing is to choose the correct flux system. Yeah, whether you want to use a no-clean flux or a water wash flux. So generally, currently, most of the industry is still using the water wash flux because the subsequent process will be the molding process or the underfill process, where it needs a good adhesion to cover all to encapsulate all the components. So that is why majority is still using the water wash solder paste.
And at the end, Sze Pei, what would be your general recommendation for fine feature solder paste printing?
The water wash, that is majority of our customer is using. But in the future, when the density is getting so high and a lot of fine pitch components and even fine pitch copper pillars kind of die, where cleaning will be difficult, where water will be difficult to penetrate and clean off all the residue, there will be a point that they have to look at some solutions that we can offer currently, which what we call the ultra-low residue solder paste. So this range of solder paste leaves really minimal amount of flux residue behind, and even though there is this small amount of flux residue, it is actually compatible with the subsequent process of the molding material or the underfill material.
Thank you, Sze Pei.
Thank you.
So what?